I leveled up after divorce, and ex-wife wants me back. Hey, true story. My name is Bryce, and I've been meaning to send this email for a long time now. I just kept putting it off because, honestly, reliving the pain of what happened to me was something I wasn't mentally ready for. But after watching some of the stories on your channel and seeing how many guys are out there going through what I went through, I knew it was time. I want to share my story in hopes that it helps another man out there realize that no matter how low life gets, no matter how much is taken from you, and no matter who walks out on you, you can rebuild, you can rise, and more importantly, you can win. I went from losing everything, my home, my savings, my job, and nearly my sanity, to building a better life than I ever thought possible. Meanwhile, the same woman who burned everything down now wants back in, but that door is sealed shut forever. Let me take you back to how it all started. The illusion of a perfect marriage. I met my ex-wife, let's call her Gina, when we were both in our mid-20s. I was working in IT and had just landed a good job after finishing my degree. She worked in marketing and seemed ambitious, smart, funny, and family-oriented. We hit it off fast. Within a year, we were living together. A year after that, we were married. At first, everything felt great. We traveled a lot, we had a decent home, and we had fun together. She had a son from a previous relationship. He was about 10 when I met him. I treated him like my own. His biological father wasn't in the picture, so I stepped up. I took him to school, helped with homework, taught him how to ride a bike, celebrated his birthdays, and supported him through everything. Looking back now, I realize I ignored so many red flags. Gina always had this thing where she needed constant validation. She couldn't go a day without posting selfies or those cringy boss babe quotes on Instagram. Every time we had an argument, she'd run to her mom and friends and paint me like the villain, even if she was the one in the wrong. But I was in love, or what I thought was love, and I thought it was just part of her personality. The beginning of the end. Things really started to unravel around our 6th year of marriage. Gina got a promotion at work, and suddenly she was going out to networking events and happy hours 2 or 3 times a week. She started dressing differently too, like she was going to the club instead of a company event. She became more distant at home, more irritable, less affectionate. I asked her if something was going on, and she'd always flip it on me. Why don't you trust me? Are you trying to control me? You're just insecure because I'm doing better at work than you. I later realized that was textbook gaslighting. Then came the night that changed everything. I came home early from a work trip. Flight got canceled due to weather, so I took an earlier one back. When I walked into the house, her car was in the driveway, but the lights were off. As I walked in, I could hear whispers and laughter coming from upstairs. I knew immediately something wasn't right. I walked up the stairs slowly, heart pounding. I opened the bedroom door, and there they were, Gina and some guy from her job, both half-dressed and scrambling like 2 teenagers who got caught by their parents. I didn't say a word. I just turned around, walked back down the stairs, and left. That was the moment everything inside me snapped. All the years I gave her, all the sacrifices I made, the loyalty, the love, the effort, it was all spit on like it meant nothing. The divorce that nearly ruined me. I wish I could tell you she was remorseful, that she apologized and begged for forgiveness, but she didn't. She blamed me, said I neglected her emotionally, and that she felt lonely in the marriage. She even tried to say that I must have known things weren't working for a long time, like that justified what she did. The worst part? She filed for divorce first. She wanted to take control of her life and live authentically, whatever that means. I should have lawyered up immediately, but I was in shock, hurt, and still trying to keep things civil for her son, the kid I still considered mine. So I tried to work things out through mediation. Big mistake. Long story short, I lost the house. She got temporary custody of her son, even though I wasn't the biological father. And because I had been acting as a de facto parent, the judge ordered me to pay temporary child support until he turned 18, which was only 9 months away, but it was still a financial gut punch. On top of that, she asked for what they called skimming payouts, basically portions of shared savings and retirement that I had to liquidate. My lawyer told me to just settle because fighting it would cost more in legal fees. So I gave in. I went from living comfortably to being in a 1 bedroom apartment with barely enough money to cover rent, gas, and food. The stress got to me bad. I wasn't sleeping. I was drinking more. I was angry all the time, and eventually I lost my job. My manager said my performance had dropped and that I seemed distracted, which was true. That was rock bottom for me. The turning point. I spent 3 months unemployed, broke, and depressed. I didn't want to get out of bed. I had no motivation to do anything. But one day I was scrolling through YouTube and I came across one of your videos, some guy talking about how he got cheated on, lost everything, but built himself back up. I listened to the whole thing and ended up binging 10 more. That was my wake up call. I decided right then and there that I wasn't going to let what happened define the rest of my life. I started treating my life like a project. Every day, I forced myself to do something, even if it was just applying for jobs, going for a run, or reading for 30 minutes. Eventually, things started clicking. I landed a remote IT role that paid slightly less than my old one, but I didn't care. I just needed a win. From there, I built momentum. I started working out again, cut out drinking. I went to therapy for the first time in my life. I invested time into learning new certifications, CompTIA, AWS, you name it. Within a year, I was in a much better headspace. I had a better job, better health, and a better sense of self. And that's when the tables turned. When the tables turned, like I said, it took about a year to get my life back on track. I was still living frugally, still rebuilding piece by piece, but something inside me had changed. I wasn't the same man who walked away from that house after catching my wife in bed with another man. That man was broken, confused, and emotionally wrecked. The man I had become, focused, clear, resilient. The remote IT job eventually turned into a contract to hire role. Within 6 months, they offered me a full-time position with benefits and a salary that actually surpassed what I had been making before the divorce. I moved into a nicer apartment, finally upgraded that old beater car I was driving, and even got back into some hobbies I'd abandoned: hiking, photography, and music production. But here's the wild part. The better I got, the worse things got for Gina. You remember that house she fought so hard to take from me? The one she practically danced out of court with like she won some kind of trophy? She couldn't afford the mortgage. Turns out, once she burned through the money from the skimming payout and my child support payments stopped when her son turned 18, she had nothing left. I found out later, through mutual friends and her sister, who always liked me more than she liked Gina, that she tried to Airbnb the house to make ends meet. That didn't work. She fell behind on payments, and eventually the bank foreclosed on it. She lost the house within 2 years of taking it. All that pain she caused, all that stress she put me through, and in the end, she fumbled the very thing she thought she was winning. Meanwhile, I was leveling up. I don't say this to brag, but because I want other men out there to understand, you're not stuck. I went from barely being able to afford ramen noodles to saving up enough money to put down a deposit on a condo. That's right, I own again. It's not a mansion, but it's mine, and no one can take it from me this time. I also stopped dating for a while. I needed time to rebuild myself mentally and emotionally. But once I felt ready, I started going out again. No pressure, no expectations, just conversations, coffee, and laughter. I met some amazing women, and I was no longer walking around with that please like me energy I used to have. Now, I know my worth, and I protect my peace like it's the most valuable thing I own, because it is. Then came the message. You already know what happened next. One night, about 9 months ago, I was sitting on my balcony with a glass of wine and my laptop when I saw a notification pop up on Facebook Messenger. It was Gina. At first, I thought, no way. She hadn't said a word to me since the divorce was finalized, not even when her son turned 18 and the child support stopped. So I opened it. She said, "Hey, I know this is probably weird, but I just wanted to say I've been thinking about you a lot lately. I know we've both been through a lot, and I'm not proud of everything that happened between us, but I do miss talking to you. I hope you're doing okay." I almost laughed out loud. After everything, now she wants to talk? I didn't respond. I left her on read. 2 days later, she messaged again. "I heard from Cassie that you bought a condo. That's amazing, Bryce. I'm really happy for you. I honestly always knew you'd land on your feet. I don't know, I've made some mistakes, a lot of them. And I guess I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I don't expect anything. I just wanted to say that." Again, I didn't respond. I took a screenshot and sent it to my best friend with the caption, "She's fishing." And boy, was she. Her life had crashed. After those messages, the information started pouring in from friends and mutuals. She had lost her job 6 months earlier, laid off, and couldn't land anything else. Apparently, her reputation took a hit because of how messy her personal life got. Office gossip is real, and that guy she cheated with left her a few months after the divorce. Rumor has it he moved to another state. She burned through the house, the money, and now she was back living with her mom, the same one who used to trash talk me to Gina every time we had a disagreement. Oh, how the tables turned. I learned that she started attending some women empowerment events and was posting all this self-reflection stuff on social media. Quotes about healing and growth and coming full circle. She had the nerve to post a selfie with the caption, "Some people come back into your life because it was always meant to be." A mutual friend sent it to me and said, "Bro, she's definitely talking about you." I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my phone. Closure on my terms. About a month after those messages, she emailed me, a full-length typed out email. Said she wanted to sit down for coffee, just to talk. Said she missed what we had and thought maybe we rushed into ending things. I finally replied. I said, "Gina, I appreciate the apology, but let's not rewrite history. You made your choices. You hurt me. You took from me. And you didn't care what it cost me back then. I've moved on. Not just from you, but from the version of myself who tolerated you. I don't hate you. I don't wish you harm. But we are never, ever getting back together. I hope you find peace, but it won't be with me." She didn't respond. And that was the last I ever heard from her. What I learned through all this. True story, if there's one thing I've taken away from all of this, it's that you cannot save people who don't want to be saved, and you should never set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. I used to think I failed in that marriage. I used to blame myself for not being enough or not doing more. But the truth is, I was enough. I just gave it to the wrong person. And now, I'm in the best place I've ever been in. I bought my condo. I'm in the best shape of my life. I work for a company that values me. I've got people around me who actually care about me, not what I can do for them. And I'm dating a woman who respects me, not because of what I earn or what I provide, but because of who I am as a man. And my ex, she's watching it all from the sidelines. The fallout changed me for the better. The truth is, I'm not the same Bryce I was during the marriage, not even close. Back then, I used to think loyalty alone was enough, that if you just stuck it out and loved hard enough, the other person would come around. I used to believe in soulmates. I thought marriage meant forever. I thought that if you provided, protected, and stayed faithful, your woman would see you as irreplaceable. What I didn't understand back then is that a person's character doesn't change just because you put a ring on their finger. If someone is selfish, vain, validation hungry, or attention starved, marriage doesn't cure that. If anything, it magnifies it. My ex wife didn't just cheat on me, she used me. She took advantage of the kind of man I was, someone who believed in duty, sacrifice, and standing by your partner. She knew I wouldn't walk away easily, and she weaponized that against me. But what she didn't count on was me waking up. I was the prize the whole time. Here's something I realized late in the game. I was the catch. Not because I'm perfect, but because I was consistent, reliable, and faithful. I showed up. I loved her son like my own. I worked hard. I stayed out of trouble. I didn't cheat. I didn't lie. I didn't run around. I was building a life, not just chasing a moment. And I don't say this in arrogance. I say it because too many men forget their value. We're taught to believe that we're only as good as what we can provide, what we earn, or what we drive. But the truth is, men of integrity, men who are grounded, men who take care of their people, those men are rare now. And if a woman gets one and still chooses to betray him, she didn't just fumble the bag, she fumbled her future. I was that man, and I'll never downplay it again. What I would tell my younger self. If I could go back in time and talk to the 26-year-old version of me who was about to marry her, I'd tell him, don't ignore red flags just because you're afraid of being alone. See, I saw the signs. I saw how much she needed attention. I saw how she twisted arguments to avoid accountability. I saw how she downplayed my wins but hyped up everyone else. But I ignored it because I didn't want to start over. I thought things would settle after marriage, that she'd grow up. She didn't. And neither will most people like her. I'd also tell him, get everything in writing and always have a lawyer. Trying to keep the peace during divorce almost destroyed me. Being the bigger person doesn't mean being the silent one. Men, protect yourselves. Don't rely on hope and handshake deals. Get legal representation. Document everything. You're not being paranoid, you're being smart. My advice to other men going through it. Let me speak directly to the guys out there who might be where I was a few years ago. The ones who just caught their wife cheating. The ones sleeping on a friend's couch. The ones driving Uber at night just to make child support payments. The ones waking up in cold sweats, replaying everything that went wrong. Here's what I want you to know. 1. Your current situation is not your final destination. You may be broke, bitter, and broken right now, but if you stay focused and intentional, you will rebuild. You have more control than you think. It takes time, but every small step you take counts. 2. Don't chase closure. Let silence speak. You don't need a final conversation. You don't need to hear "I'm sorry" or "you were right." Let your growth be the loudest message. Nothing is more powerful than living well. 3. Cut contact and don't look back. The same person who broke you will try to pull you back the moment they see you healing. Don't fall for it. Block, delete, disconnect. Protect your peace like it's your life, because sometimes it is. 4. Build yourself first, then rebuild your life. Before you chase another relationship, fix the man in the mirror. Go to therapy, hit the gym, learn something new, upgrade your wardrobe, take yourself on walks, on road trips, on coffee dates, fall in love with you again. 5. Remember, the storm didn't break you, it revealed you. This pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. You're being refined, and the man you become on the other side of it will be stronger, sharper, and more self-aware than ever before. As for Gina, do I forgive her? Yes, not for her, but for me. Holding on to that bitterness was a weight I didn't need. She's not my concern anymore. Her problems, her choices, her regrets, none of that is mine to carry. She made her bed, and now she gets to lie in it without me. The last thing I'll say about her is this: I don't hate her, I don't wish her harm, but I also don't miss her. The woman I married died the day she betrayed me. What's left of her is just a ghost, and I don't chase ghosts. I'm not just surviving, I'm winning. These days, life feels different. I wake up every morning knowing that I earned my peace. I know who I am now. I know what I bring to the table, and I don't shrink myself for anyone. I work from home with a team that respects me. I've got emergency savings, investments, and no debt. I've traveled more in the last 18 months than I did in my entire marriage. I started doing volunteer work with at-risk teens, mentoring young men on how to make better life decisions. I started a YouTube channel of my own, not a big one, but a space where I talk about healing after betrayal, rebuilding as a man, and creating the life you want, not the one you were left with. And you know what the crazy part is? I'm grateful for the divorce, because if it didn't happen, I'd still be living a lie. I'd still be wasting my life on someone who never deserved me. That pain pushed me to become a man I didn't even know was inside me. Thank you, True Story. I just want to say thank you, man. Your channel was the first thing that gave me hope during one of the darkest seasons of my life. I didn't have a brotherhood, I didn't have a support system, and I felt completely isolated. But hearing those stories, men rising up from betrayal, pain, financial loss, it lit a fire in me. You gave me perspective, and that perspective saved my life. So if you decide to read this email on your channel, I just want one message to come through loud and clear. You can lose everything and still win in the end, because I did. The full circle moment I never expected. I thought that was the end of it. Me moving on, her fading into the background, life just doing what life does. But about 3 months ago, something happened that hit me harder than I expected, in a good way. Out of nowhere, I got an email from Gina's son, the boy I raised like my own for 8 years. I hadn't heard from him since the divorce. After everything blew up, Gina made it clear she didn't want him keeping in touch. I never reached out because I didn't want to cause any confusion or add to the emotional mess. But that boy was like a son to me, and I always wondered what he thought of me after everything. So when I saw his name in my inbox, my heart actually skipped a beat. The message read, "Hey Bryce, I hope you're doing well. I know it's been a long time. I just wanted to reach out and say thank you. I didn't understand everything that was going on back then. I was young and didn't know the whole story, but I do now. And I just want to say I always appreciated how you treated me. You never made me feel like I wasn't yours. You were more of a dad to me than my real one ever was. I hope one day we can grab a coffee, if that's okay with you." Man, I won't lie to you. I sat there and cried, not just a tear or two. I broke down because all those years of feeling like everything I gave was wasted, all that pain of being pushed out of his life, wondering if he hated me, it finally melted away. That message gave me peace I didn't even know I still needed. We did meet for coffee. I messaged him back that same day and said I'd love to meet up. A week later, we grabbed lunch at a quiet spot downtown. He's 20 now, working part-time and going to community college. He's got some plans to go into IT, which made me laugh because I guess I left more of a mark than I realized. We talked for over 2 hours about life, about how he felt after the divorce, about how he eventually learned the truth about his mom's cheating and manipulation. He told me something I'll never forget. He said, "You were the first man who ever showed me what it looked like to treat people with respect, and now I'm trying to be that man too." That hit deep, because if nothing else came out of that marriage, at least that did. At least I planted a seed that might help him avoid the same mistakes I made. At least something good grew out of all that chaos. Before we left, I told him this: "You're not your mom. You're your own man. And no matter what she did or what she lost, you still have a future worth building. And I'll always be in your corner if you need me." He smiled and said, "That means more than you know." Where things stand now. Since that day, we've kept in touch. I don't see him often, and I'm not trying to be his father again. He's grown now, but we have a good connection, and it feels like a piece of my heart got returned to me. As for Gina, according to her sister, who still reaches out from time to time, she saw us together that day. Apparently, she happened to be driving past the cafe and saw us sitting outside talking. She asked her sister if I still talked to him, and when she found out it was the first time in years, she started crying. Her sister told me Gina's been dealing with depression, financial instability, and extreme regret. She's burned through every good relationship in her life, and she knows she messed up, but she also knows I'm gone for good. She told her sister, "I just want him to look at me like that again, even just once." But I never will, not again. Final thoughts for the men listening. True story, I want to end this email with a message for the men out there still stuck in the fire. I know it feels like your world just ended. I know it feels like you failed. You didn't. You were loyal in a time when loyalty is mocked. You tried to build something when others were chasing temporary highs. You showed up every day, even when no one thanked you. You fought for something real. And that's not weakness, that's strength. But now it's time to fight for you. It's time to take all that love, all that energy, all that fire, and pour it into yourself, into your health, your finances, your purpose, your peace. Build something so solid that no one can ever take it from you again. Let your comeback be louder than her betrayal. Let your silence speak volumes. Let your glow up haunt her memory. And when she tries to crawl back, because most of them do, remember this. She didn't love you when you were low. She only misses you now that you've risen. Don't let her back into the palace she burned to the ground. Thank you again. Thank you, True Story, for giving men like me a platform. Thank you for the stories, the insight, and the encouragement. You were a part of my healing journey, whether you knew it or not. If you decide to share this email on your channel, feel free to use my name. Bryce is who I was, and Bryce is who I am. No shame, no regret. Just a man who walked through hell and came out stronger. If one guy hears this and realizes his life isn't over, then every word was worth it. Keep doing what you're doing. We need it. Sincerely, Bryce.